Trainer, we're always in the same schools before, but usually they're either one higher me.
My usual audience is a lot shorter than you guys. My books are usually for the 5 to 8 year old crowd, so if I talk like I'm talking to them, don't be distressed because I'm just used to that. The book that won the award last night was called Jack and the Giant Barbecue, and it's by a really great author called, his name is Eric Kimmel, and he set Jack the Beanstalk in Texas, where they have lots of cowboys and they all eat barbecue. So one of the characters in this book stole Jack's daddy's recipe book when before Jack was born, and took it back to his huge giant barbecue shack in the clouds. And so often once I read Jack the Giant Barbecue, the kids ask me to draw a picture of the giant who ate who stole the barbecue book. So I show them how I start out, and like Mark, I usually start out with a pretty loose drawing. I usually use a light circle for the head, and then just a line for his spine, just to figure out where the character is going to go, and then I can build on that. And I'm just going to draw him for the belly button up, because he's a giant, he's huge, so I can't draw the whole giant on one piece of paper, he's too big. So I'm going to have him, why don't I show where his shoulders go? Right there. Shoulders join our arms join our bodies at our shoulders, so we artists always draw shoulders here too, or at least I do, to show where his arms are going to join his body. And I'm going to have him gnawing on a rack of ribs. Everybody likes ribs, right?
Woo!
Yes, Mr. Manders. And let's have his hands here. I always start to draw, when I begin drawing hands, I just make them wear mittens, because then I don't have to draw all those fingers. It always looks like a bunch of bananas whenever I draw fingers individually. All right, so he's going to be gnawing on some ribs here. I switched to a Sharpie. I just used this pencil here, this one right here, to block in where everything's going to go, and then I'll add the details. So I can start to add ribs. It's not really ribs are kind of triangular shape, and they're segmented like this, but they're sort of blobby, so you can't really go wrong drawing ribs. All right, then I'm going to draw his head. I put a circle here to show where his head's going to go. That really is just to indicate his cranium. Then I'll draw his jaw. He's a big redneck kind of guy, so he has a huge beard, and got a nose here. He hasn't seen a barber in years, nor a dentist. Eyebrows. He wears a trucker's cap, which is kind of like a baseball cap, but it's kind of squarish, and it's got mesh material in back, so the back of your head can breathe. And when I draw a cap now, if you're thinking of the top of his head as a ball, then I draw kind of an oval around here to start his cap off, and then grow it on top of that. So his cap will start there, and we'll put the bill of his trucker's cap there, shade that in, have this come up. There's that mesh material, and how about some ears? When I paint, of course, I use a brush, and the great thing about a brush is that you can make thick or thin lines with it fairly easily just by pressing down on it. And I tend to make lines that are like underneath the jaw, underneath his nose, underneath his ears, a little bit heavier, so it creates the illusion that they're in shadow. All right, now we'll draw his fingers in here. Remember, I started out with just mittens. Now he's got fingers, so all you have to do is draw lines to separate them out. Here's some big forearms. Move his hand over here. Just disregard that other mint. That. More big fat forearms. And he wears bib overalls and, of course, a sleeveless undershirt, like Stanley Kowalski in Streetcar Named Desire. That's a reference that the elementary school kids always get. All right, and now comes the really time-consuming part. People don't understand how difficult it is for children's book illustrators, but if you get an assignment where there's a giant as a character in the book, you have to draw a lot of hair. That could take hours. Some color in that theory. That's better. He's a slob, of course. Just gonna heavying up the lines underneath to make it look like this light is shining from above. Create the illusion of form. There we go. There's the horrible giant.